But you're hustling. I mean, you're writing, you're working,
Dude, we're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say. I was, because I watch y'all's podcast, and I listen to the other comics you have on and the advice and stuff they're giving. I've not heard anybody give any bad advice. Everybody's been great. I watched one with Will. I watched the one with Brandon. Like, everybody sounds great. Here's what I would say that I haven't heard any of them say. Get the fuck out of town.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of town. You can only do shows in your own town for so long.
Right.
This is a town of, I don't know, you're over 1 million population.
Yeah, it's a big town, but it's not.
But you're only going to hit the same audience.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually they've all seen you. You can't do...
Especially once you actually...
And it doesn't matter how many friends you have. Your friends are only going to come and listen to your same jokes so many times. Right? So I had a ton of friends at that show last night. And I mean, they're all great friends. I appreciate them coming out. But I start to feel bad. I'm like, dude, you've already heard my shit.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that you just bought a ticket because I'm going to say the same shit you heard 2 weeks ago.
Sometimes that's okay. I mean, because I see a lot of the same people a lot, which is fine. I was telling, I think, somebody about this recently on the show, but like, it's like whenever, for me, sometimes even for you, it's like I know a lot of your bits, even from seeing you. I've seen you once before. I can't remember where, before Lawton a few weeks ago. But like, cause I know some of those jokes, it's like, I know I've heard him say this before somewhere. I can't remember where, but a lot of these bits, it's like, I like it because it's like when you start the setup, it's like, oh, I know the joke already, and then I get excited because it's like, I like this joke or whatever.
You like, kind of like you're in on it.
It's like a song for a band that you like, I think. Yeah. For some people, maybe not everybody, but for me, I think that's fun to see comics several times because I like to see the progression and see, what you might change about the joke or whatever too. Yeah. But
I mean, you got to go get in front of people that have not seen you before.
That's the key.
That's how you build that fan base moving out. And I'm not saying that you should drop everything and run to Tennessee or go to California. But like, it wouldn't be nothing for you to start doing more in Tulsa. Yeah. It's an hour and 20 from here. Like, go do some stuff in Tulsa. Hit a few stops there, and once you get you're starting to feel real comfortable there, now get out of your comfort zone and go do something in Fort Smith. Yeah. And then once you get out of your comfort, once you start getting in your comfort zone and you're feeling good there, go to Little Rock. Like, you can drive to Little Rock and do a show and come home.
Go do mics or just
do everything you can. Everything you can.
Get in front of people there.
It's like sometimes I'll drive to Tulsa just to do an open mic. Yeah. That's a 3-hour drive for me. Yeah. But I'll drive to Tulsa just to hit a couple open. I mean, I try to do it on a night when I know I can hit more than one. Right. Yeah. But I just got to go run new jokes in front of people that have not seen me before. Okay. Like, you can't keep doing it in front of the same people. Otherwise, you don't know if you're getting better or if these people are just your friends and they're supportive. Like, you've got to go where people are going to judge you. Oh, okay. So that way you know if the joke's good or not. That's the point. That. You also can't just hit the Bricktown open mic where most of the time it's just the other comics because they're not giving you good feedback. Most of the other comics are working on their set that they're fixing to go up and do. They're not listening to you. Right. So you're not. They're not actually an audience member. Yeah, they're not a good. Other comics are not a good audience. Yeah. And I used to drive down to Dallas every once in a while. I'd go down there and stay for 2 or 3 days, and just hit open mic because you can hit 4 open mics a night. Down there, and I would go down there and stay for 2 or 3 days and just hit as many mics as I could, and but it's all other comics, so, and they're not paying attention to you. So I'm like, dude, what am I doing down here?
Because sometimes you might feel like you're bombing even though you're probably fine, but nobody's paying attention because they don't care necessarily.
I'll find ways to challenge myself. It's like last night. I don't know if you noticed him. The table right in front and center where Katie was sitting with her mom.
Yeah, it was a big, long table.
About midway down that table, there was a guy with perfect hair and a real pretty blonde girlfriend. That guy did not smile the entire show until right at the end, and I could not take my eyes off of him. Everybody else I'm scanning around the room. I'm looking at everybody else. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's laughing. They're engaged. I got this one guy straight down the middle of the room. Looks like he's mad that somebody made him come. Yeah. But towards the end of my set, I finally got him to sit back in his chair and put his head back. and laugh.
Relax, yeah.
And I was like, cool, I did it.
Yeah.
Like, so that was my challenge for myself. Like, I'll try to find somebody.
Yeah.
And go, or like somebody that's been to see you 100 times. And okay, I got in my back pocket, I've got this new joke that I've been working on.
See if they've
already heard all my stuff. I'm going to focus on them when I hit this new joke to see if it hits. You got to find somebody that's going to be an actual gauge for you. So I do that. Like, when I get on stage, first 5-10 minutes of my set, I'm scanning the room, seeing where we at. Yeah. Where's everybody at? Who's feeling it? Who's already warmed up from the comics before? Who doesn't look like they're enjoying themselves? I'm going to find something. There's a bar in Dallas. I think it's in all those towns will run together down
Fort
there.
Smith area.
It's in the Dallas area. And I think it's called the Mad Hatter is the name of the bar. And they used to have an open mic in there. And I went in there, and I was like 12th on the list. And I'm sitting midway back through, and there's a ton of people in there, not just comics.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying attention to the comedians. So, I'm watching, and I'm kind of, like, nobody's paying. I'm like, all right. So when I go up, my goal is to just get the room's attention. If I can get everybody's attention, even if I can't hold on to it, if I can just get everybody's attention. So I go up, and the first line out of my mouth was, I think this age is too old to shit my pants. But I said it louder than I normally talk, so everybody heard shit my pants. The entire bar got quiet. Everybody turned, looked at me. The bartender quit serving drinks. She came to the end of the bar and watched, and I did a 5-minute set with everybody's attention.
Oh yeah, and nobody else did that.
And as soon as I was done, the bar went back to normal.
Oh, okay.
But that was my goal. Can I get everybody's attention? So I mean, I tell people to do that all the time. Like, as soon as you get up there, like, find somebody that's your goal, or figure out, like, before you go up, figure out what what's my goal? Is my goal to get the whole room? Is my goal to divide the room?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, not too long ago, we did a show in Lawton, and Hurley King was on the show with us, and half of the crowd was his crowd, which means that half of his crowd was 50 and above black. So and then the other half of the room was all white, except for one black guy.
No, you say it was in Lawton? Okay, yeah.
So my opening joke was, welcome to 2024, where apparently we still segregate.
Yeah.
And everybody laughed at that. And then I said, except for this one black guy over here that's telling all y'all's secrets. So I divided the room, and then I brought the whole room together. And that was my goal, because I was like, I'm just looking at the crowd before I go up, and I go,
you just noticed
all black, all white, one speck of pepper in a bowl of milk over here. I don't know what's going on with this guy, So I was like, all right, the room automatically segregated itself.
Right.
How do I unsegregate them? How do I bring them all together? And sometimes you got, and that was a gamble.
Yeah, because it could backfire.
The room could have just fallen silent and felt heavy all of a sudden, so, but it worked. Yeah. And, so I just try to pick ways to challenge myself when I go on stage.
I like that.
Running new jokes. I don't hit nearly as open mics as a lot of people do, but I also stay really, really busy.
Yeah.
So I do 2 to 3 shows a week instead of hitting open mics.
And at what length usually? Like 30 minutes at a time?
My shows? Yeah. I don't very often do less than 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah. So you get a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. My goal, I always want to do, because here's my ultimate goal, is I want to get to where I'm doing an hour and 10, and I've got a feature.
Oh, okay.
No host, no opener, no. Just because I want, because I'm trying to build a fan base. That's just where I'm at now. It's not because I want less people on the show with me. It's because I'm trying to keep this whole room's attention on me for the longest amount of time possible, so that I can build that fan base. Just because that's the point I'm at now. Is I have to build the fan base if I want to go to the next next ring out.
Say you're going to a new spot.
Okay.
All right. What do you start to do to build the fan base, and then what are you doing after to continue to build that fan base?
So, Wayne's really good about helping me build the fan base before we get there, because Wayne is that dude. I can't tell you how many groups he's a member of on Facebook. So, like, we did a show in Sulphur Springs, Texas, last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. neither one of us ever been to Sulphur Springs, Texas. But we had that show planned 2 months in advance. So he started going and joining all the Sulphur Springs rants and raves, buy, sell, trade.
Right.
Like he went and joined all those pages, all those groups.
Okay.
And then he would promote our shows in the groups, or he would get on there and just, you know, talk about, hey, I heard there's a comedy show coming up. And like he was just this random person, but it just gets the conversation started. And then, you know, Wayne pays for advertised spots on Facebook and
especially
stuff.
Targeted demographics.
Yeah, and he's got it science figured out. Like teachers and nurses are 2 of the best demographics to aim for in comedy.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I don't know why, but
there's probably a lot of them. I mean,
there's a lot of them, and teachers and nurses, those are
yeah.
both professions that they have to be very professional at their job. When they get off, cut loose. That's just so. Like he's really good at getting the area's attention before we get there. And then after we go, and I encourage people all the time, I'm like, hey, take tons of pictures. When you post the pictures, tag us in it. Follow us on social media. Social media, if you're in the entertainment business nowadays, social media is where you live and die. You know, so I encourage people, hey, go like us on social media, follow all the comedians. If you take a bunch of pictures, post them, tag us in it. Every time I'm tagging a picture, I go and comment on it.
That's
like so now they didn't just go to a show, take a picture, and post it on social media. The person that was doing the show engaged with them. So now they know who I am.
I would even suggest, like, I mean, obviously, I think that's great. I think particularly Instagram, as I always think about, I think that's a very popular social media platform most people would like to use, especially for tagging photos, I think. But, like, for me, it's like, I think it's great to, like, comment, say thanks at least, thanks for taking a picture, thanks for coming, whatever, as simple as that. But also, I mean, you could take it further and, like, reshare it on your story, and, like, I think that's, like, huge for that person to be like, oh, they reshared my shit on their page. You know, it's like,
and that's how I took that lesson from Dane Cook. Dane Cook was the first comedian to capitalize on social media.
He was at the right time,
and he was and everybody else was like, oh, it's a fad, it'll pass, and he's like, I don't think so. So he would be able to, which I was never a big Dane Cook fan when he was young. I'm a fan of him now and the comedy he does now. But back in the day, I was like, oh, this guy's just on meth or something. Like, nobody has that energy if they're not on something. So it wasn't my cup of tea. But now, listening to his story and the stuff, like his brother robbed him, took all of his money, and he's like, I had this much money left, and I just took it and rented an arena, I think in Florida or something. And he said, and I didn't pay for one bit of advertising. I got on my social media and said, hey, I've got a show coming up here. Here's where you buy your tickets. And sold out. But it's because he'd always been so present on social media. Following. He doesn't have to do these big commercials and paid advertising. He can just put it on his social media. But it's because from the very beginning, his goal or his rule was every person that interacts with me, I interact back. So he spent a ton of time. If somebody commented on something, he commented back. And I watched this deal with him, and he's talking about, he goes, and I still do it to this day. And I was like, let's see. So I went and followed him on Instagram and sent him a message. And within 30 minutes, he messaged me back.
Wow.
Well, man, if that's the broccoli, you got to do that, man.
And I at first I was like, but he's also big. Is it him or somebody else? There was a ton of shit misspelled. And he tried busting my chops on the question that I asked. And I was like, oh shit. Like, I think this is really dang good.
Oh, nice.
And I've messaged him a couple times since then. And every time I message him, he responds.
That's beautiful. I'm gonna start messaging.
I know, it's like you might ask him some tips, or you know, I'm sure he'd be.
So I try to share. Like, if anybody shares my stuff, I go, "Thanks for sharing." You know, or it harkens back to like when somebody gives you a review in your business. And then you're like, after you see the review, if you give them a thanks, you just won somebody for the rest of their life, pretty much. Because you showed appreciation. Because one, they're saying that you're good in front of everybody. You know, it's just a really great way to kind of keep that ball rolling, and then other people read it too. They're like, oh man, this guy's really nice, and they're easy to work with, and they got a good review. Let's see what they do.
You know?
It shows that you're engaged and that you're. It shows other people that if they're gonna do the same thing, that they know what to expect from the entertainer or whoever. So it's good.
Well, and that goes with, you know, I mean, something that I think that not bragging, but like I do very well is
not to brag,
add value to yourself. So if you add me to a show, you're gonna get pictures.
Yeah,
I'm gonna talk to you about.
Well,
I'm gonna tell everybody I know.
Yeah,
you know.
But by the way, fucking phenomenal pictures.
Yeah, that's something that I started doing photos for Lively this past summer, and it was for me when I started. I just wanted something to do. I was just like, I need to start getting out because I was trying to transition back into the real world after COVID and stuff. And so I was like, I get into some photography. Nick does these shows, so I'm going to start doing photos. And it's like in my head, too, partly because I just wanted to do it. I like photography, and I want to get better at it. But it's like I'm adding value to Nick's shows by offering this, thing that obviously it's like he could pay for it. But if he, it's like, well, I have the skill, and it's like, well, I want to help him, so I'm going to do it. And that's a part of why I still do it all over the place. Is like I like to go and try to, offer that service to people that might not be able to afford it or want, because it's so important for social media. And I like it so many places that don't do any of that. Or I was talking about like shows or whoever producers putting on shows, and they don't post any, maybe one picture. That's like the bare minimum, post one photo of each comic, which is good. Like I said, you should always at least do that. But it's like I rarely see anybody do any more than that, and it's just like I think that's a big deal, that something people are missing. Yeah. So I want to try to add that if I can, like especially people I know, my friends that I want to help succeed. Yeah. So
I think, because you're right. It's one, like I always, like I didn't take any pictures last night. Yeah. Because you were going crazy. I was like, oh, I think he's going to get better pictures than me.
You don't have to worry about
his lens is way bigger than mine, which is not, camera's not usually what I'm talking about. But like whenever there's not a photographer, like I try to take pictures of everybody while they're on stage and send them to them, so that way they have pictures of that show, so they can post it and share it. Or
but also frees you up when you got somebody else doing it, so you can focus on the show.
Yeah, and
that's what I mean. That's huge help when David comes in.
So that's the other thing I was gonna, is I'm always real big about, and I try to get the other guys to do it too. Hey, as soon as the show's over, go stand by the door. Yeah. So that way you can thank people as they go out, shake hands, take pictures, all that stuff. And that's what like, and I've had some give me a little like, well, do I want to take pictures with you? Like, because I made myself available. I didn't, as soon as the show's over, go stand in the corner with the rest of the comics and ignore the audience. I want to go over there and shake hands with people. I want to like, hey, thank you very much for coming. If you want to take pictures, let's take pictures. Like I stand next to my merch table because I'm trying to sell some merch.